Hello YouTube, it's me zannderx here. Now I'm not wearing my hat because this video, as you can see in the title, is a little bit more serious than my usual videos. So, it is about the Trayvon Marvin and the George Zimmerman attacks. Like that whole thing, and the George was the neighborhood watch guy, carried a gun, shot a kid because he looked suspicious. I'm not getting into that, because that is a totally different subject. I'm getting more into the thing, and don't get me wrong, I would like to talk about this, but it's just too touchy, and I feel sorry for the family that lost the young man. And the guy, I've listened to the 911 tapes. George should have never got out of the car like the cops told him, and he never would have got, if he did get beat up by this kid, then it would have never happened if he would have stayed in the car or stayed at his house reporting this to the cops. That's all that would have happened. Like, if the guy felt that this kid wearing a hoodie and all this stuff was threatening his neighborhood, he did the first right thing, calling the cops. Then he messed up by following the kid. Then he messed up by getting out of the car. And then if he did, got beat by the kid, and because he was mad, he shot the kid. Well, maybe not mad. I don't know if the guy was actually pissed off, mad. He probably was. It's like when you're a little brother and you get your ass beat in a video game or wrestling or fighting your older brother, and then you get pissed off and you don't want to talk to no one because you just got beat. And that's probably what that guy was in attitude. Now he's using the self-defense. Don't ask me if I think it's self-defense. I wasn't there. I don't really know all the facts. All the facts I'm getting is from YouTube and from the news media, and I don't trust that stuff enough to make a clear accusation onto either side. So I'm staying neutral there. I'm not going to pick a side. You guys can be pissed off about that if you want. I'm just not picking a fucking side. The side that I do want to talk about about this video is people saying that this act was racism from George's part. Okay? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe this guy George doesn't like black people. If he doesn't, Martin was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, wearing the wrong type of stuff. And if it wasn't, this is my argument right here. Now, if this was actually considered or being placed in the racism group as being a hate crime, as being like this guy hates black people or African Americans or whatever other term you would like to use. Does he hate those people? I know there are people out there that hate black people, hate Spanish people, hate Mexicans, hate Puerto Ricans, they hate Asians, blah blah blah. Oh, they hate those type of people, which brought me back in the 911 conversation. One thing I found at least racist from what I could see was the cop on dispatch asking if the perp, as the perpetrator or the person he is talking about, is black or white. I didn't hear, is he black, white, or the cop should have said, what race are they? They shouldn't say, are they black or white? What, only black or white people can walk around in hoodies and look evil and commit crimes? I'm pretty sure there are a fair share of Koreans, Asians, Mexicans, Filipinos, that we have a lot of different races here in America that probably commit crimes wearing hoodies, or are in gangs wearing hoodies, or just starting a bunch of nonsense bullshit. But that was probably the only racist thing that I got of that whole thing, was the cop just asking, are they black or white? That would probably be my only share to really say that might be, I guess you could say, considered racist. But if this act right here of George Zimmerman shooting a black male in his teens, I think he was like 14, something like that, in a hoodie for a race crime, if that was a race crime, then what is this article I'm about to tell you about? Now, I ran across this article looking up information on this Trayvon, sorry if I mess up his name, Martin. I keep saying Marvin for some reason, Martin. Now, it showed, like, in this article, it talks about a white couple, a male and a female, that are murdered and mutilated by a group of 5 African Americans, 4 males, 1 female. Now, this is what the article reads. There are photos, these are the photos of of the people who butchered Cannon after forcing her to watch them mutilate and murder her boyfriend, Christopher Newsom. Christopher's penis was cut off before he was set on fire and then shot. Cannon's fate was more gruesome and horrible. And yet this story, the article, it was obviously not written by the media, this article was. Story was not has not hit mainstream media. Why? Is it because it's because it's black on white crime, therefore incorrect to report. Like, that's one of many articles, and that was the one I felt that needed to be told, like, that I found that came around the same time as this George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin act. This whole thing going down, and they came around at the same time and all this stuff. Why is this on the mainstream media, and why are people making this a big deal when you have the same thing happening against, I guess you could say, white people, Caucasians out there? But that's not considered race, because I've read plenty of I've gotten plenty of comments on that stuff. I've read watched videos on that particular thing too, and I'm like, no one considers that racist. That could never be a hate crime, pretty much is what I'm saying. How could that not be a hate crime? It's one race murdering and butchering another race. And the same thing, that was George Zimmerman, one race. I think he looked, in his photo, he looked like he was Spanish. Killing and murdering, or just killing, I'm not going to say murdering, killing and attacking a black kid. Like, why is that racist if this isn't? This isn't getting no media, getting no comments of racism at all. Now, if you're going to consider that racism, you got to consider this racism. What did these 4 black males and 1 black female have against these 2 white individuals? What is wrong with that? Why isn't this getting out there, but this is? Because my whole life, I'm 23 years old, and I got a lot of friends. I got my black friends. I got Spanish friends. I got obviously other white friends. I got a lot of friends. I'm a very open person, and I like to speak my mind. But why is that racism, but this is not getting any media or racism comments at all? Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. Racism didn't end not too long ago, where we actually finally got to the point where we were no longer segregated, and there's still places in the United States that are segregated. People pay to segregate their kids, and that seems wrong to me. It's like, what? We're all fucking human beings. We should be living in the same place. But slavery's gone, or black slavery's gone, and all this hate crimes to where they used to be in the 50s, 40s, and 60s. Wow, I just fucked up all that timeline. In those times, hate crimes are not as big as they used to be. If any, I don't know any true hate crimes where people are literally, I don't know any. I'm not saying there's not any out there. I don't know any crimes of people getting the shit kicked out of them because they're black or they're Spanish or this. But I'm not saying it's not happening. I've heard, I've not seen it. I've not been there when it's happened. But it's like the game telephone when you were a kid. Everything changes. The farther it travels, the more the comment changes on its way around the circle. Okay? Now, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Like, is it true? Like, how can you consider racism, this act, over Trayvon Martin? I have to keep reading it or I'll fuck it up. And George Zimmerman. Why is that considered racist, but this, with these 2 white Americans, or Caucasian people, whatever term you want to take, because I don't want people to go, oh, you're racist, because I'm not. And these 5 black or African American individuals committing this crime against this white couple. But it's not racism. It's not considered a hate crime. It's considered just a crime. Why can you consider one? Because the person who died and got injured is black. Would it have been different if it was a white kid that got shot by George Zimmerman? Would this whole thing have gone swept under the rug and never gone viral or crossed the nation where people are buying hoodies and saying, do I look suspicious? Would that have happened if Trayvon, I didn't have to look at it that time, if Trayvon Martin was a white kid? I will bet everything I have on the fact that if it was a white kid, never in its time would it have reached the level that this one thing has reached. I would bet everything. I would bet the rest of them, like, I would just be like, it probably wouldn't have. Because this article, where the two white kids, or the two Caucasian individuals dating, were murdered by 5 African Americans. That didn't reach the media. That's not getting information, viral connections. People don't know that happened. But why would it? That's what I want you to ask yourself. If it was a white kid that got shot by George Zimmerman, would that have got as much media? And then there's probably people out there, well, the cops would have responded faster if it was a white kid. You don't fucking know. I have plenty of friends here, and we are white people, and we call the cops. And it still takes them an hour and a half to get here. Okay? Like, come on. They take their time just like they would do for you. Okay? And that's all I'll say. If you don't like the video, dislike it. If you agree with the video, like it. If you like what I'm talking about, I do a lot of videos like this. Subscribe to my channel. I'm not trying to get fame off of this. I'm just saying, I just don't understand what's going on right now. And I know a lot of my family members support this whole thing. They do. And that's why it made me questionable. It's like, Josh, you don't want to be the bad sheep of your family. You don't want people to look down to you and your family. But you know what? That's just not who I am. I really do not care at any times what people think of what I have to say. I say it, and I get in trouble a lot for it. I say what I want to say when I deem it's necessary to say. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you want to. Leave some comments on what I've said down there. And peace.